Hello, lassies, and those of unspecified gender, it's the Irishman here, and today I'm going to be talking about what would have happened if Goku was addicted to Senzu beans. This is the fourth part to this what if, and the other three will be linked in the description below. If you haven't seen them, I would definitely recommend them. My sources tell me that they are pretty good. Sorry for not uploading this sooner, I know it's been long awaited, but I had other things going on. Plus, I was also trying to make Naruto content, and suffice to say, that didn't turn out too well. So now I'm going to go back to making your friendly neighborhood Dragon Ball material. But that's not the point of this what if. Instead, it's to talk about everyone's favorite Senzu bean fiend. And now, that's what we're going to do. So without further ado, let's get into the story of this what if. A few months after the defeat of Frieza, Vegeta will be training trying to achieve some new form or some new power-up to try and break the gap between him and Goku. He realizes that Kakarot has gotten far, far stronger than him, and he wants to be able to reach that same level. But he just can't find a way to actually catch up. Vegeta would think about different powerful people he had heard stories about or actually met firsthand. Frieza was one of them. He was extremely powerful, but really, Goku had already surpassed him, so there's no point trying to achieve that kind of power. And then there's Majin Buu. He seems strong, at least by what he had heard about him, but there's no definite signs that he's actually a real person and anything more than just stories. But then, there's Beerus the Destroyer, somebody Vegeta had actually met before and seen with his own two eyes. Even thinking about Beerus sends shivers down his spine, and if Vegeta were to obtain the same spine-tingling power that Beerus has, well, he'd be able to catch up to Goku for sure, probably even surpass him tenfold. But really, that's easier said than done. Beerus didn't have some technique he used that made him that strong, or some form that gave him unlimited power, or something like that, no. He was just emanating off this terrifying yet almost divine-like power that Vegeta could barely even comprehend, even now being able to sense ki. But Vegeta would believe that he can brute force it. If he trains himself harder and harder every day, he should eventually be able to achieve this power. And for months on end, he would break his limits, pushing himself tooth and nail, and he would eventually be able to get Super Saiyan 2 and 3, which is a great accomplishment, but compared to Goku, well, he had that years ago. So it's nothing really that impressive. And so, Vegeta, well, he'd hit a wall. He would have no idea where to go from here. But then, Bulma would suggest that maybe he uses the Dragon Balls to try and find out what power he's looking for, maybe get some answers. And Vegeta would do this, hearing about the ritual of the Super Saiyan God, which would require 4 Saiyans pushing their power into another, and then unlocking godly ki inside of a new Super Saiyan God transformation. But a problem arises in the fact that they don't have 6 Saiyans in total. They have Vegeta, Goku, Nappa, Raditz, and Nappa's kid. But that's only 5. They would need a 6th Saiyan. But then, Vegeta would look at Bulma with a look of ambition. And then, a few weeks later, they would be able to do the ritual. Goku would be stoned out of his mind the entire time, but after Vegeta actually gets the power up, he would compliment its strength and say that he's going to leave now. Probably go take a nap, he's kind of tired. But also probably stop for some food on the way, he's also kind of hungry. He would stop at a gas station on the way back to his house, and then he would grab a few bags of chips, go to the candy aisle, and decide, Starburst. It's a pretty good candy. And as he's going up to the counter, he would see someone that looks off. A metallic green bug man who is just lurking at the corner of the store. Goku is kind of weirded out by this, but would decide he's just going to get his food and leave. As Goku buys his snacks and heads out the door, the green guy would follow him and introduce himself. His name is Cell, and he is the perfect being. He's looking for a challenge, and Goku seems like a pretty good fit. Goku would be surprised, is he asking for a fight? And Cell would say no. He's holding a tournament in a few weeks, and he would want Goku to participate. And hearing about a new tournament, well, Goku is hyped up and would decide he's going to join. And this pleases Cell so very much. Goku would arrive back at the lookout and go into the hyperbolic time chamber, snacks in hand. He would open up a fridge and grab a Zenkai, an energy drink he had made out of his flavored Senzu beans, and then he would begin training with a mysterious figure that kind of resembles Gohan, but he's wearing Saiyan armor. This child happening to be Vegeta Jr., the firstborn son of Nappa, as well as somebody who had just assisted Goku in performing the ritual to make Vegeta the Fourth, or I guess in this case Vegeta Sr., into the Super Saiyan God. For the next 3.5 weeks, or I guess 25-ish years for Vegeta Jr. and Goku, everyone would begin to train preparing for the Cell Games. Vegeta would make sure that he is able to use Super Saiyan God without needing the ritual, and would effectively master the form. While Vegeta's doing that, Vegeta Jr. and Goku would be doing their own thing, focusing on improving a power that they had obtained on their own, rather than needing to use the ritual to achieve. The power of Super Saiyan 4, something the both of them had stumbled onto while training together. Now, Vegeta Jr. is roughly 1 year old at this time, but because of all the time he spent in the hyperbolic time chamber, well, he'd probably be a full-grown adult. But similar to Goku having a all-Senzu bean diet, he has achieved basically eternal youth, and now maintains his childlike appearance. But when using Super Saiyan 4, much like GT Goku, he would have an adult body. That way his battle choreography is better, and he looks much cooler. Although the form they're using is more akin to Super Full Power Saiyan 4. Yes, that's its name. They would have also mastered the form, that way it's less of a transformation and more of a base form in terms of energy use. And it would actually probably be a base form for Vegeta Jr., seeing as he likes the extra height that comes along with the transformation. When the day of the Cell Games finally arrives, it would be hosted on a different planet. That way there wouldn't have to be any casualties or destruction to the planet, and everybody could fight all out. Another big change is that it wouldn't just be everybody fighting Cell. Instead, it would be an actual tournament, consisting of 2 different teams, the Z Fighters and Cell's team. Cell's team would consist of himself, Android 13, Android 16, and then King Cold, Cooler, and Frieza, who would have all been given cybernetic enhancements, basically being turned into androids as well. They would still maintain their normal personalities, except any malice and malicious intent they had in their hearts would be completely taken away. They would be good people, and heroes. And even though I said teams, it's not exactly teams per se. Instead, it's just 2 different groups. But they would still be bracketed up normally, and there's no real bias on who fights who, aside from me thinking one fight is cooler than the other to start out with. Speaking of, the first fight will be between Vegeta and Cooler. And even though Cooler is very powerful, especially with his cybernetic enhancements, even in his 5th form, he is no match for the god-powered Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta. The next fight will be between Vegeta Jr. and King Cold. King Cold would utilize his final form, something we had never really seen before, even in the original, and even though this is difficult for Vegeta Jr., it's not exactly too hard. He would only maintain his normal Super Saiyan state, and he would still be able to beat out the Frost Demon. The next fight is between Android 13 and Nappa, and this is a lot less one-sided than the other fights. Nappa would use his Super Saiyan 3 power to try and overpower the android, and even though it works for a bit, Nappa is losing power fast, and the android is actually able to overpower him for a bit. But then, with some encouraging words from his kid, Nappa is able to find the strength to use a giant storm powerful enough to defeat the android. After the match is over and Nappa is declared the winner, the 2 would shake hands and agree to fight another time, beginning a rivalry between the 2. The next fight is between Android 16 and Raditz, and it's a pretty cool spectacle to watch. Raditz would have only stopped training after he got Super Saiyan 2 since he didn't really think he needed any other power, and so Android 16 has definite power advantage, but Raditz was also very skillful. But ultimately, Android 16 still comes out on top. Although the 2 would still become friends after the match, seeing as they would both respect each other and their respective capabilities. The next battle would be Goku versus Frieza, a rematch that would be very interesting seeing as both of them have gotten much stronger since the last time they fought. Goku would begin in Super Saiyan as Frieza would begin in his final form. The 2 seem pretty even at first, but if this is all that Frieza has, it's clear who the winner is going to be. Except, Frieza would actually transform into his 5th form, something that would be very akin in appearance towards what his brother has. But then, Goku would crank it up to Super Saiyan 3, and this is very powerful and the 2 would be titans clashing. But then, Frieza would launch back, transforming once again into a powerful golden state. Goku is impressed, letting out a grin, and then he would transform into Super Saiyan 4. The ground would shake as the two clashed blows. Everyone would look on in amazement, as this is beyond anything that any of them had seen thus far. But then Goku would activate Kaioken, landing a Dragon Fist onto Frieza, causing him to fly backwards and land outside of the ring. Goku would be declared the winner, and to everybody's shock, Frieza would shake his hand. Goku would be confused and go in for an awkward bro hug. Frieza, not really sure what's going on, would just decide to hug back. The next fight is between Cell and Vegeta, and well, Cell mops the floor with the Saiyan Prince, until he activates his Super Saiyan God form, which is very powerful, but somehow Cell is still keeping up. And then after a while, Vegeta would lose energy quickly, and then would fall out of the form as Cell would take advantage of this, knocking Vegeta out of the ring. I doubt that Super Saiyan God is the most physically demanding form, but at the same time, Vegeta hadn't gotten perfect control over his God powers just yet, and would probably fall out of the form. This would give Cell the opportunity to swiftly knock him out of the ring before he has time to regain his composure. After this, it would be student versus teacher. Goku would fight against Vegeta Jr., who wouldn't exactly stand that great of a chance against his master, but Goku would go easy on him, not wanting to beat his student out that quickly and completely crush his morale. The two would cycle through transformations, first going into Super Saiyan and then Super Saiyan 2 and Super Saiyan 3 would follow. And then after that, eventually they would go into Super Saiyan 4. The two seem pretty equal until Goku stops holding back, teaching his student to always keep training as there will always be somebody above him, and to always try and break his own limits. Goku would give Nappa a Senzu bean before his next match, knowing he's pretty low on energy. He would offer one to 16 as well, but he would politely decline. Goku would also be munching on Senzu beans this entire time, so don't worry about his energy loss. Nappa would have gotten a small Zenkai from this, and 16 was also a tad bit stronger than Android 13, so they are pretty even. After a while, both of them would lose a substantial amount of energy, but seeing as 16 is infinitely regenerating his power, infinite energy engines and all, well, 16 actually comes out on top here. And now for the moment you've all been waiting for, Goku versus Cell. But before we can get into that, guys, please, for me, subscribe to the channel, that way I can reach my goal of getting to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. It would really help me out, and I'm really trying to get this YouTube thing to work out, so if you can, please take a second of your time to hit that little red subscribe button. And now, on to the fight. The two would step into the ring and stare each other down. Goku would go Super Saiyan 4 and Cell would activate 100% of his full power, and then the two would clash. Cell's regenerative abilities as well as infinite energy engines means that he could go at this all day. Goku would have the essence of the Senzu beans running through his blood at all times, so he could do the same. Both never even lose a drop of energy and would continue fighting for hours. And then, Cell would unveil a new transformation, the power to also go into his own golden form. Goku would be impressed and would try and use Kaioken times 20 on top of Super Saiyan 4 to try and counter this, but it doesn't work. And then, Goku would grin, as his fur would turn white and his hair would spike up, going into a sharp silverish color. Goku has achieved Super Saiyan 5. Cell would look on with joy, having thought that he would never find an actual challenge, but here Goku was, pulling out something that was actually able to challenge him. The two would continue fighting, as the people watching cannot even perceive what is going on. And then, both Goku and Cell would power up their own Kamehameha. Goku and Cell would look on as they would charge their beams, and then, after they release it, the power emanating from it is insane. Everybody is blown back as the beams would begin to clash. The universe is beginning to ripple and tear apart, and then suddenly, everything would go black.
It seems the universe has been destroyed. How very interesting.
Whis, quit talking to yourself and fix this. I was having the best dream and I would like to get back to it.
Okay, Lord Beerus, I shall get to it at once. But aren't you even a wee bit curious at who could have done such a thing?
Now that you mention it, yes. Whoever did this had to have been quite strong. Maybe it could even be a good rival for me. Once you rewind time, make sure to remind me of this.
And there it goes. That is the fourth part to this What If, and I hope you enjoyed. It took me a while to make, and I'm sorry I couldn't have uploaded it sooner, but I hope you enjoyed. Have a nice day. This is, always has been, and always will be the Irishman. Talk to you later.